Imagine a world before science, before telescopes and textbooks, before the internet, or even the written word. Picture a time when the only guides to understanding the world were the sights and sounds of nature itself. In this world, the sun, moon, and stars were the only lights in the darkness, mysterious and powerful, their movements both beautiful and bewildering. This was ancient Egypt, a civilization that blossomed along the life-giving Nile, whose people depended on the river's yearly floods for survival, and whose lives were shaped by the rhythms of the land and sky. The Egyptians watched the world closely. They noticed the rising and setting of the sun, the swelling of the river, the return of the stars. Each event seemed to hold a secret, a message from the universe waiting to be understood. Without the tools of modern science, they turned to stories, myths, to explain the mysteries that surrounded them. These stories were not just entertainment, they were essential tools for making sense of a world filled with uncertainty. Myths became their science, their philosophy, and their history. Through myth, they explored the origins of the world, the cycles of the seasons, and the enigma of death and the afterlife. These stories explained why the pharaoh ruled as a living god, why the Nile flooded each year, and why the world was ordered as it was. Myths offered answers to the greatest mysteries, what happens after death, and how to prepare for the journey beyond. Myths were more than tales whispered in the dark. They were the foundation of Egyptian society, shaping laws, customs, and the very way people saw themselves and their place in the cosmos. Through these stories, Egyptians connected with their gods, honored their ancestors, and found their role in the grand design of the universe. Every temple, every home, every festival echoed these stories, weaving them into the fabric of daily life. Myths were painted on walls, carved in stone, and spoken aloud in rituals and celebrations. By exploring these myths today, we catch a glimpse of the ancient Egyptian mind, curious, imaginative, and searching for meaning in a world that could be both wondrous and terrifying. They ask the same questions we still ask. Where did we come from? Why are we here? What is our purpose in this vast universe? What happens after we die? Is there something beyond this life? And if so, how should we live to prepare for it? The Egyptians answered with a tapestry of gods and goddesses, epic battles between order and chaos, and stories of creation and rebirth that gave structure to their world. Their mythology was a grand adventure, a cosmic map drawn in stories, a way to chart the unknown and bring order to the mysteries of existence. It was their first journey into understanding the cosmos, a quest to find their place among the stars and the gods. These myths were not just fantasy, they were guides for living and dying, offering wisdom, comfort, and a sense of order in a world that could seem unpredictable. Myths gave people hope, a sense of belonging, and a way to face the unknown with courage and faith. Through myth, the Egyptians found meaning and connection in the vastness of existence and passed these stories from generation to generation. Their stories endure, inviting us to join their search for answers, to wonder as they did, and to seek our own place in the universe. In their myths, we find the roots of our own quest to understand the universe, a timeless journey that continues to this day. Before anything existed, there was only the dark, endless waters of Nu. This vast, formless expanse stretched in every direction, silent and mysterious, holding the potential for all that would come. The ancient Egyptians imagined this primeval ocean as the very beginning, a place where nothing yet had shape or purpose. From this swirling chaos, a single mound of earth, the Benben, rose up, breaking the surface and becoming the first land. It was a moment of emergence, the first sign of order in the midst of endless disorder. The Benben represented hope, stability, and the promise of creation. Atop the mound stood Atum, the first god, alone and all-powerful. He was self-created, born from the chaos, and he gazed out over the waters, contemplating what would come next. Atum embodied both the potential and the will to create, a solitary force ready to shape the universe. From himself, Atum brought forth Shu, god of air, and Tefnut, goddess of moisture. With a breath and a word, he created them, giving rise to the first divine beings. They were his children, born from his own essence, and together they began to fill the world with life. These two were the first divine pair, representing air and water, essentials for life. Their union brought balance to the world, making it possible for all living things to exist. Air and moisture, working together, would nurture the earth and sustain creation. When Shu and Tefnut became lost in the darkness, Atum was filled with concern. He sent his eye, a symbol of his power and watchfulness, to search for them through the shadows. The journey of the eye was a quest for reunion, a search for harmony in the world. His tears of joy upon their return became the first humans, linking humanity to the gods. In this way, people were born from divine emotion, forever connected to the gods through love and longing. The Egyptians saw themselves as children of this sacred reunion. Other cities told different creation stories, like in Memphis, where Ptah, the great creator god, shaped the world not with his hands but with his thoughts and words alone. His mind and speech brought everything into being, showing the power of intellect and language. All these myths shared a theme. The universe emerged from chaos through divine will. Whether by mound, by word, or by thought, creation was always an act of intention, a triumph of order over disorder. Creation was an act of consciousness, bringing order to the void. The gods shaped reality with purpose, and their actions set the pattern for all that followed. These stories gave the Egyptians a sense of place in the cosmos. They explained not just how the world began, but why it was filled with meaning and structure. They explained humanity's connection to the divine, and why people must honor the gods to maintain balance and harmony in the world. The myths of creation were the foundation of Egyptian belief, shaping rituals, festivals, and the very way people understood their lives. They showed that order, not chaos, was the destiny of the world, a destiny shaped by the gods and shared by all who lived under the Egyptian sun. With the arrival of air and moisture, the world was poised on the edge of transformation. The ancient Egyptians believed that these elements were not just physical forces, but living deities, shaping the very fabric of existence. The stage was set for the next act in the cosmic drama as the land and sky awaited their forms. Shu and Tefnut's children were Geb, the god who embodied the fertile earth, and Nut, the goddess who stretched across the heavens as the sky. In the beginning, Geb and Nut were inseparable, their bodies entwined so tightly that nothing could exist between them. No air, no light, no life. But Shu, their father, intervened. With great effort he forced them apart, lifting Nut high to form the arching sky and pressing Geb down to become the solid earth. This powerful act established the world's structure, earth below, sky above, and the vital air in between, allowing space for all living things to flourish. Nut arched protectively over Geb, her body adorned with shimmering stars, while Geb lay beneath her, nurturing the land. Their separation was sorrowful, a necessary sacrifice for creation, and their longing for each other echoed through the ages in Egyptian myth. Yet from their union, even in separation, came Osiris, Seth, Isis, and Nephthys, the next generation of gods, each destined to play a vital role in the unfolding story of the world. These deities would shape Egypt's most enduring and powerful myths, influencing everything from the cycles of nature to the fate of souls. The first gods embodied the elements: creator, air, moisture, earth, and sky, each one essential to the balance and harmony of the universe. Their stories explained not only the world's order and the origins of life, but also the mysteries of death, rebirth, and the eternal cycle of existence. The divine family became the model for pharaohs and society, linking the rulers of Egypt directly to the gods and the cosmic order. Egyptian myths were not just stories, they were blueprints for the universe, guiding rituals, laws, and the very way people understood their place in the world. Through these ancient tales, chaos was transformed into a world fit for humanity, where order and meaning could flourish. The gods' lineage connected all Egyptians to the cosmos, reminding them that their lives were part of a grand, divine story that stretched from the earth beneath their feet to the stars above. Ra, the sun god, was the supreme deity and creator of life. Each day, Ra sailed his solar boat across the sky, bringing light and order. At night, he journeyed through the underworld, the Duat, facing chaos and danger. The serpent Apep tried nightly to devour Ra's boat and plunge the world into darkness. Set, god of storms, defended Ra, battling Apep to ensure the sun's return. Every sunrise was proof of Ra's victory over chaos. The pharaohs claimed descent from Ra, building temples aligned with the sun. Ra's journey mirrored human life, birth, death, and rebirth. His daily triumph gave Egyptians hope and stability. The myth of Ra was a symbol of cosmic order and renewal. It shaped religion, kingship, and the rhythm of daily life. Ra's eternal journey was the heartbeat of Egypt. Osiris, son of Geb and Nut, became Egypt's first king, bringing civilization and peace. His wife Isis ruled beside him, but their brother Set grew jealous. Set tricked Osiris into a chest, sealed it, and cast it into the Nile. The chest drifted to Byblos, where a tree grew around it, hiding Osiris's body. Set seized the throne, plunging Egypt into chaos. Osiris's murder explained the presence of evil and death in the world. Yet his story was not over, it was the beginning of transformation. Osiris would become lord of the underworld, judge of the dead. His myth offered hope for life after death. The Osiris story shaped Egyptian beliefs about mortality and justice. It was a tale of loss, renewal, and the promise of eternity. Isis, heartbroken but determined, searched for Osiris's body with her sister Nephthys. She found the chest, but Set discovered it and tore Osiris into 14 pieces, scattering them across Egypt. Isis and Nephthys gathered the pieces, missing only one, and with Anubis's help reassembled Osiris. Isis's magic restored Osiris, not to life on earth but as king of the underworld. Before he departed, Isis conceived a son, Horus, destined to avenge his father. She hid Horus from Set, raising him in secret. Horus grew strong, ready to reclaim Egypt's throne. This myth became the model for royal succession and the divine nature of the pharaoh. The story of Isis and Horus embodied loyalty, magic, and the triumph of rightful order. For Egyptians, death was a journey, not an end. The soul faced trials in the underworld, guided by spells from the Book of the Dead. In the Hall of Two Truths, Anubis weighed the heart against Maat's feather of truth. A pure heart meant eternal life in the field of reeds. A heavy heart was devoured by Ammit, ending existence. This judgment reflected the importance of living a just life. The afterlife myth gave meaning to morality and hope for immortality. It was a powerful vision of justice and the soul's destiny. Egyptian myths were rich in symbols. The Ankh, shaped like a cross with a loop, symbolized life and immortality. Gods offered the Ankh to pharaohs, granting the breath of eternal life. Scarab beetles, seen rolling dung, became symbols of the sun's journey and rebirth. Scarab amulets promised protection and resurrection. Heart scarabs were placed on mummies to ensure a favorable judgment. These symbols embodied hope, transformation, and the promise of new life. They remain powerful icons of Egyptian belief. Egypt's civilization faded, but its myths endured. The pyramids and sphinx became symbols of ancient mystery. The Rosetta Stone unlocked their stories, letting us hear ancient voices again. Egyptian myths influence our art, literature, and imagination. Their stories explored creation, justice, and the struggle between order and chaos. The weighing of the heart echoes in later religions and philosophies. The journey of Ra and the scales of Maat still inspire us. Egyptian myths show our timeless quest for meaning in the cosmos. They remind us that storytelling is humanity's first science. The search for understanding is as old as the stars themselves.